Karoline Leavitt as she stutters over her lies every day and then gets angry at people who ask her normal questions. So they had to put in another effing puppet.
And as always, we'll start with our new media C, who is our podcast host today, Benny Johnson. Benny, why don't you kick us off, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Caroline.
Their new media C. And so they have their new podcast host to come in and ask questions at a serious press conference about the state of the United States and this unleashing of federalizing the DC police force. So they picked Benny effing Johnson. In case you guys don't know who Benny Johnson is, he was quick to tell you how much of a clown he really is with his lines of questioning.
Given the heroic actions of a member of this administration just a few blocks from this building, will the president consider giving the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Big Balls?
I haven't spoken to him about that, but perhaps it's something he would consider. I'll ask him and get back to you, Benny. Thanks for being here. Gabe.
It's like those times when they have children come into the press briefing room, that maybe sons, daughters, nieces, and nephews of the reporters, and they ask questions. Hi, Miss Press Secretary, and you ask him something ridiculous, and then the press secretary answers and laughs. Says, "Good job being here, Benny. I'm glad you're here to ask that stupid question. It's so nice to see you here." And I guess Americans are supposed to lap that up. It's supposed to be cute when the 5 and 7-year-olds do it. But in this case, this is supposed to be carrying some kind of propaganda tool for this administration because they are childlike. This is a juvenile administration. So good job, Benny. Good job for asking about Big Balls. By the way, in case you guys don't know who Big Balls is, he worked with Doge, the Elon Musk's Doge group, as they stole money and infiltrated our entire federal government to steal information and have access to it. He was assaulted in DC, and that's what Donald Trump used to spark off this whole thing where he's invading the city unnecessarily for the sake of creating his military state in the country. That's Big Balls. What I'm trying to figure out, considering that they have no care for crime and the way children get shot in schools, as we just saw happen, why didn't anybody ask, what was Big Balls wearing? He got assaulted at 3 a.m. What was he doing out at 3 a.m.? Was he wearing skimpy clothing? Was he wearing something that invited the attack? Why didn't he do anything to protect himself from that? These are the questions that we ask innocent folks that these type of people don't like. That's when women get assaulted in the street and women get put in child sex trafficking rings like the one that Donald Trump is currently covering up. We start asking questions about who they are and why they got themselves in that situation so we can absolve ourselves from any kind of responsibility for doing something about it. But Big Balls is supposed to get a Presidential Medal of Freedom for being in the wrong place at the wrong time and I guess wearing the wrong clothing. There's more from this guy.
As a DC resident of 15 years, I lived on Capitol Hill. I witnessed so many muggings and so much theft. I lost track. I was carjacked. I have murders on my Ring camera and mass shootings. I witnessed a woman on my block get held up at gunpoint for $20. And my house was set ablaze in an arson with my infant child inside. And so to any reporter that says and lies that DC is a safe place to live and work, let me just say this. Thank you.
Did he ask a question? Or was it him listing a line of crimes that he allegedly witnessed and saw? His house was set on fire. He was carjacked. He saw people get assaulted in front of his house. It was constant, bro, over and over and over again. I don't know. I mean, I guess if these things happen, you would have thought that Benny Johnson, who's a big crusader for these folks who are anti-crime when they're actually more about pro-punishment and pro-crime, you would think he would have filed all these police reports. Maybe he would have talked about it on his show. I don't know. I don't watch Benny Johnson's show, so maybe folks who watch him more closely could have seen all these instances of destructive behavior that he talked about because, he held all 18 of these violent crimes that he witnessed and experienced inside until right now when he's asking about whether or not Big Balls should be given the Presidential Freedom Medal. I'm just saying maybe we should ask those questions. Because when an actual question is asked about a real crime that happened, that same Karoline Leavitt, that apparently was jazzed about that question from Benny Johnson, she had more questions when it came to what ICE agents are doing to children.
A lot of reports that ICE agents detained a 15-year-old student with disabilities outside an LA high school, even leaving bullets on the sidewalk. How does the Trump administration plan to ensure parents that their children can return to school without fear of being wrongfully detained or endangered by federal agents.
Where'd you see that report?
LA Times.
Okay, well, I'll have to look into the veracity of that report. I read the LA Times almost every single day, and they are notorious for misleading the public. I'm sure there's more to that story than the way that you just characterized it. This administration wants to ensure that all school children across the country in every city, from Los Angeles to DC, can go to school safely. And that's part of this administration's effort to federalize the National Guard in Washington, to ensure that ICE is removing child predators, because we want to ensure this is a country where American school children can be safe, where they can prosper, and where they are not threatened by violent criminals, whether they are illegal or whether they are American citizen homegrown criminals, as this president calls them. So I will gladly go check on that report, and I'll get you the facts.
Looking forward to her come back with the facts of that situation that reporter was asking about, because Karoline Leavitt reads the Los Angeles Times every day. And based off of whatever she just pulled out of her ass, they're notorious for misleading people. But she wants to tell you that this administration is looking to rid our streets from violent people who attack children. And yet ICE agents violently attacked children outside of a high school in Los Angeles, because she knew nothing about it, but she has a lot of opinions about it based off of absolutely nothing. So if anybody was upset about me making fun of Big Balls getting his ass whooped in the middle of the street at 3 a.m. because he invited that crime on him, why aren't we upset at Karoline Leavitt completely ignoring this 15-year-old kid that was assaulted by ICE agents that attacked him outside of school? Oh, by the way, I checked into it for you, Karoline. You know, that lion-ass LA Times. Here's some details that she didn't have. Immigration agents in Los Angeles on Monday mistakenly detained a 15-year-old boy with disabilities, dragging him from a parked car while his grandmother was in a nearby high school helping another family member register for classes. And according to LA Unified School District Superintendent Alberto Carvalho, who reviewed video of this incident, authorities who approached the boy first assured him that they weren't enforcing immigration law, nor were they part of immigration and customs enforcement. So they start the interaction with this minor by lying to them about who they are and their law enforcement agencies. That sounds like criminal activity to me. I mean, but they're getting criminals off the streets. I got more that Karoline didn't know about. The footage shows the masked agents who surrounded the car were wearing tactical vests reading police, with what appears to be U.S. Border Patrol written underneath, is what that the LAUSD superintendent said. It's disturbing, it's heartbreaking, and it's reprehensible, he said of the incident. This young man was placed in handcuffs, presumably based on mistaken identity. He's not an adult. He's a 15-year-old boy with significant disabilities, is what he said, praising the Arleta High School principal for courageously stepping in to stabilize the situation. Karoline had more to read. According to a statement from school board member Kelly Gomez, the unidentified agents drew their guns on the teenager, who, because of his disabilities, is non-communicative. Agents reportedly left 5 live bullets behind. Maybe we should start cleaning up the streets and arresting these ICE agents who are leaving litter on our streets. As a matter of fact, bullets in front of schools, because, you know, we're all about advancing our young people in this country and leaving them a better place to be, right? When federal agents were asked to retrieve the live ammunition scattered outside of that school, the agents reportedly told the school district to keep the bullets and use them for target practice. In other words, a couple big FUs to these folks after you commit that crime in broad daylight, attack this kid, and then go and celebrate out and have a beer afterwards. You see what we did to that kid, bro? Now let's let Karoline Leavitt and this damn president tell you that we're about stopping crime and protecting children as we continue with our crime spree and assault and attack children. Karoline Leavitt knows the story, and Karoline Leavitt is an effing liar. Karoline Leavitt is looking to protect criminals. That's her job. Karoline Leavitt's job is to protect criminals. Karoline Leavitt's job is to protect pedophiles. Karoline Leavitt's job is to protect people who attack 15-year-old kids with disabilities outside of a school in Los Angeles because they're the wrong color. This is a bigoted, racist administration, and they don't even deny that anymore. They just come in front of cameras and just exhibit it to us every day.